Hi everyone. I'm supposed to be on with Elsa. We were supposed to talk about trust. So I can talk about this. It's one of my favorite subjects. And so if you are here to talk about trust, no problem. I just want to say to Elsa, if you are maybe accidentally in the audience, go find the link and please join me inside. I will check and see if you are pitching up. Okay, so the subject of trust. Now, as most of you know, we've got a book coming out in the next day or two, Trauma to Time. And the series name is Start With You. And that's really important. The series name is not an accident. Wait. There's Elsa. There's Elsa. It's at Elsa. Oh.
You know what? There's something wrong with my laptop. I guess it's my disk is full. So anyway,
It's no problem.
Here I'm just
Yeah, no, it's
put
fine.
my
We are
phone
live.
here.
Yeah, we are live. You are here, and while you move your camera around, because this is what we do quietly, people normally. So you do
Can you
that
hear
until
me?
you're happy. Yeah, happy. And meantime, I'm telling people about our book, which is Trauma to Triumph, and the series name is Start With You. Start With You, which is not an accident. I mean, don't you love that? Don't you love that as a name for a series? Start With You.
Yeah. So I'm getting some technicalities here. Probably it's just the volume that I could not really hear you well.
Okay.
Right. Because I'm just using my phone. Something wrong with my.
Oh, okay.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's happened with me
Anyways.
too. I was on a TV show the other night and my internet wasn't working, so it came back like 1 minute before. Technicalities is going to happen in the online world. This is just how it is. It's tough luck. We don't like it. We like to be all perfect about it, but you know what? Yeah, this is what happens. Okay, so our biggest challenge is for you to sit still.
I couldn't hear you well, but anyways, I'll try my really best to really listen to what you're saying so I could really answer the question well.
Okay,
So
well,
first off, Louis, congratulations, and I'd like to congratulate the rest of the contributors to this book. It's doing well. I believe I clicked on it on the other day, or probably yesterday. But the book is still on a bestseller in the child psychology category, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I saw it was #1 release. I haven't seen it being bestseller, so we did you see it as bestseller or #1 new release?
Yeah, it's new release. It's still in the child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome. We're really excited about that, and the book is coming out in a day or two, and it's amazing content, totally amazing content. I know it's going to help a lot of people. So we're going to talk tonight about, well, it's tonight here, it's morning with you, right? So we're going to talk about an excerpt from your chapter. Okay, let's see. I'm going to find the right one. There we go. Okay. All right. So, I mean, you know, Elsa, I know you're going to have your own way of looking at this, because you always have some unique way of looking at stuff, which is why I'm excited to talk about this. Trust the process. The same way one trusts the sun to come out the next day. The availability of air one breathes, or a miraculously working body one has, is the same way one must trust whatever present challenging situation one is going through. Trust is a declaration of one's faith. And that last sentence in itself is a long conversation. Let's start with this. Trust the process. And we are talking about one must trust whatever present challenging situation one is going through. I think that's a critical part of a statement, isn't it?
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Really sorry, Louise.
Uh,
What's your question again?
you don't perhaps have a pair of headphones with you,
It's
earphones.
because no, there's something wrong with I don't know the day that I'm really excited to talk to you, and then this happened. But anyway, so okay, I wrote something about trusting the process, and your question is how to elaborate that further. Is that what it is, or
I,
what is it?
you know, I'm really just linking the fact that there's a process when we are facing a challenging situation.
Yeah.
And and what you are saying is trust that process to get through the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you just to explain a little bit more.
Okay. To be able to further explain what trust, think the process, the entire thing about trusting the process is let's tackle about the subject about trust. What is trust, anyways? Right? I mean, trust is it's also a process itself. If you think about it, before you can trust something, you have to establish your faith, your belief on something, right? To be able to really fully trust the entirety of it. What do I mean by that? Um, Being the process, it's a matter of surrendering to what is, surrendering to yourself, to the outcome of a situation, what be it worse, be it better or worse. It's about accepting the unacceptable, which is really difficult, isn't it?
Mm,
It's allowing the unfolding of events. It's letting go of control, manipulation, letting go of the need or the desire to fix things and to fix people, to fix the situation, and really letting go of resistance to be able for you to fully trust. It's really giving off yourself there, giving off yourself or surrendering yourself to the unknown, to the things that are unseen. And yeah, that's all about it, really. Because um, the reason why there's so much difficulty in trusting, putting a trust on something or someone, it's because we're always coming from a place of fear. And then what is fear? Fear really is these are just thoughts of need, thoughts of lack, and that's the reason why you fear because you don't have it, right? Fear of worrying, fear of anxiety. These are worries, anxieties, fear of really not having what you want to have, fear of, let's say, oh, I am scared. Let's say you already have something, but still, I am scared because I might lose it. Having been in a relationship, for example, um, you fear of, oh, my wife, my husband, my girlfriend, my boyfriend might leave me, even if they're just there. Really, these are just thoughts of lack, thoughts that do not serve you. It's an error in thinking, just like pain. So that's one of the biggest obstacle why we can't trust. But if you think about it, fear, fear is just one of those words, letters grouped together, and then you put meaning in fear, isn't it? And then when you really digest fear, when you just observe the word itself, it's just words. It's not real. And that's the reason why a lot of people are able to interpret fear in different ways. They're able to turn it around. Some people would be saying fear is false evidence appearing, appearing real.
Mm.
These are from based from where? From overthinking, from worrying about things that haven't transpired yet. And that's the reason why you can't trust. But if you just turn it around, you will see how fear will transform to another level. Everything is open to interpretation, Louis. Um, but trusting the process is the number one obstacle is just fear. But if you let go and surrender yourself, you're able to see what you have not seen because fear actually cripples you, it paralyzes you to see what's out there that's really beneficial to you because you are being clouded. Everything's such a blur when you're in fear. You are you can't decide well. Um, the physical manifestations of fear would be illnesses that you can't explain, inflammation here and there. I've experienced all of that before, and it really crippled me. So I decided to really just trust the process. And the process, what is the process? Someone would ask, "Well, Elsa, what is the process? What process are you talking about?" It's a journey of how we manage things. It's a journey how we navigate life. It's the path that we have chosen. It's actually life itself. And the process is God.
A lot of the time, we can connect an inability to trust ourselves
Yeah.
with our lack of trust. So, how do we get to trusting ourselves?
Trusting ourselves. Okay, first and foremost, I forgot to mention this about fear. Fear is also separating yourself from the whole, separating yourself from the divine consciousness, separating yourself from the oneness, the entirety of all. And that's the reason why you feel lonely, you can't trust yourself because of the thoughts that you've been feeding yourself. The thoughts that actually belittling yourself, the thought that really makes you um, it's actually the ego. If you think about it, you're separating yourself from the divine consciousness of everything because of fear. So how can you trust yourself again? Then you have to change the narrative. Change the narrative. And what narratives? What are these anyways? These are just basically thoughts that you've been focusing on. These are just the um, thoughts that you have been feeding yourself, replaying it again and again in your mind until it becomes a belief. What are belief is just repetitive thoughts. If you think about it, and then you just have to change that, change the narrative, ask many questions about yourself. For example, when you're scared, oh, I'm scared. People might see me as this. I'm scared because of the image that I have placed on myself. I'm scared that I'm not able uh, to be on that, to be able not to give that concept to people that are expecting of me. Um, fear of basically a lot of everything is it's fear, right? Fear that they might say when I say this, they might say something about it. Fear that they might judge me, you know. How then can you trust yourself? Then go back to the consciousness, go back to being aware, being alert. Let's pause for a moment and then breathe. And then ask yourself this question: why am I scared? What am I really scared about? Is this real? Or it's just the thoughts that running in my head that I chose to believe? And then observe really the observing plays a lot of importance in here, plays a lot of plays a vital role. Learn not to be identified with these thoughts, but instead just observe these thoughts, the coming and going of these thoughts. And then ask yourself, where are these thoughts coming from that made me scared, right? I've explained earlier, it's actually from from the lack, coming from a place of need, coming from a place of lack, and then refocus your attention to your feelings. When you thoughts are creative, and then it manifests to one tool of creation is thought, and then emotions are feelings, and these are caused by our constant focus of attention to these negative thoughts that
Yes. Yeah.
affected the entirety of our physical being.
Yeah.
If you think about it, our society, the way we are conditioned, is really about fear. We've been conditioned to fear since the millennia. If you think about it, um, at home, for example, your parents, but I'll give my experience with my parents when we were kids. If you don't eat that, the monster will eat you.
Mm,
If you don't finish your food, the monster will come and eat you or grab you or kidnap you or whatever. And in school, okay, if you don't do your assignment, you'll fail. If you don't do your if you fail in the test, you will repeat this class, etc. And what else?
you'll never get a job. You if you don't behave, you'll never get a husband. You know, it's an endless. If you don't
Endless.
behave
Yeah,
in this way, you're not going to heaven. You know, it's just like an absolute
exactly. Everything is
endless.
fear based.
Yeah, there's,
It
it's and I know we're on the same page about this because it's about love. When it's about love, everything changes. But I don't
yeah.
want to go there yet. We're still going there. So, you know, Elsa, such an such an important. Let me do this. Such an important um, concept is that we don't understand that we are not our thoughts. It's like you say, we are so attached. We believe that our thoughts are true because we think them. We don't understand that our upbringing and our present circumstances and our conditioned thinking have all created a set of outlooks and thoughts. And once we give up the idea that these have to be right and we start investigating, we can form a whole new set of beliefs. So it's like that's like a vital first step, don't you think? Before we carry on, it's just to realize, you know what, maybe I'm wrong about this, and maybe if I'm wrong about it, how amazing is it? Because we're so scared of being wrong about stuff.
Yeah, we're scared of.
Wait, let me get
We
you back.
I'm sorry about that. There's
I want
this
to get you back. There you go.
outside. Oh my god, I'm so noisy. I'm sorry about this, Louise. What an experience. Not today. All the noise outside. What was your question again?
I can't hear noise, but I've got my fan on because if I don't have my fan on, then I'm going to die. So I say that if you if you want to start somewhere, you've got to start by giving up your attachment to your thoughts. You've got to realize that
Exactly.
there's freedom in it if you figure out that you are wrong about one of your beliefs. It's not terrible, it's amazing.
Yeah, what's happening is that we have trained ourselves to be identified with our thoughts instead of just stepping back, pause, and observe. I guess we should train ourselves to observe things, to observe our thoughts specifically, because these thoughts, when they come alive, when you really focus your attention to them and then attach yourself to them, it actually manifests in the physical. And so, what you can do is always ask questions, introspect, always observe, pause, breathe. And let's say you feel bad, you're feeling fear already. It um, Fear itself is just fear itself. If you think about it, right? There are so many ways of looking at fear. Turn it around. Fear could be um, useful, advantageous in some aspects of your life. Some people, I think there's one author that we know that actually wrote something about fear. I think it's called Empower Your Fear. Just
Oh,
like what I
Scott,
wrote, huh?
uh, Scott Allen.
Scott. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes,
So we can
yes.
always turn fear around, just like what I said. I mean, everything is open for interpretation. So how are you going to interpret fear? Are you going to interpret it as, oh, this is really paralyzing, it's crippling me? Or looking at it as a feeling of excitement and readiness. That's one acronym that I saw, feeling excited and ready. And
Mm.
I also came across with another acronym of fear. It says that, like what I said earlier, it's a false evidence appearing real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good one.
Yeah. So there are so many ways to look at fear, different angles. If you have looked at fear, something that you're really something that will affect you physically, why not turn it around? There's always looking at situations in, I mean, in different angles, isn't it? Like my experience growing up in a tough environment, of course, before when I used to tell this story, is about, I mean, coming from a victim mindset and now coming from a different perspective. I've looked at it in a different way. It actually, I'm thankful about this experience because if not for this experience, I won't be able to talk about what we're talking about right now, what we're
Hmm.
discussing about right now. So look at it in a different way. So in a different angle, always ask questions. Is this real? Are my stories in my head, in the stories that I add to my thoughts, are they real or just basically we're just making it all up?
I'm Jewish. Okay. So I, because I deal, I wonder if anybody else can hear the echo. Right. So because I deal with adult child syndrome, what I know is that a lot of people who are grown-ups are still carrying their childhood fears. Uh,
Yeah.
the overwhelming majority of us. And that is why that fear is feeling so real, because it's not realistic. Okay, so let's use your example. I'm scared my partner is going to leave me or die or something. And that that fear is so overwhelming. It's like it grips you. You're nauseous, you're sick, you know you have to fix it. But if you ask yourself logically, will this kill me? Then you understand, no, it won't. If I if I go and get through it, I have a chance at another life again. If I work on myself, I'm going to become more resilient. So there's a lot of good things that can come from a tragedy or a challenging situation. But if you had to face this abandonment as a little kid, the feeling would feel overwhelming. And now we're still experiencing this adult experience with that overwhelming feeling of a kid. And that's why I do adult child syndrome work, because we have to learn to not that we are so powerful and so amazing. We've got a voice, we've got a choice, we can do new things, we can heal, we can express our feelings. But we're stuck in that child outlook that we can't handle abandonment, we can't handle disappointment, we can't handle loss. And that's why we fear it so much. Could you hear me?
I'm sorry, oh
let's
my
get
god.
let's get to self love,
Uh-huh.
because I mean, what's your previous book's name? It's about self-love, isn't it?
Oh, it's the Come Back to Love, Understandings and Reflections on Self-Love.
Yes.
Did I answer
So
your question right? Because I'm not hearing you well. Oh my god.
don't worry. I'm just talking to myself. Don't worry.
No.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. Um, so Elsa,
Yeah.
if um, if we're not sitting with this fear, all these fears, and we are not trusting ourselves, and we're not trusting the process, trust it, trust the process like you would trust your breath, like really, then wouldn't you say one of the big solutions is for us to really learn self love?
we're used to giving off our attention to others, isn't it?
Mm.
We are used to um, prioritize other people first. Okay,
Mm.
these are the old used, like I said, it's used to. These are the old. There's nothing wrong from being of service to others, of course. To be able to find out what you really are is to demonstrate who you really are by giving it to others. But the thing about self love is, how are you going to understand, give of something for people if you haven't experienced it with yourself?
Mhm.
How are you going to give of something, or you care? You you always say to people, take care of yourself. Okay, but are you taking care of yourself first? I mean, you have to ask yourself, how am I able to do this? And then later on, with so much giving of self to people, and then there's nothing left for you. Some people normally end up hating the experience. It's because they haven't experienced it first, right? So, how are you going to understand and give of um, compassion and kindness if you're not compassionate to yourself first? You have to experience it first that you may be able to share that experience with other people. So that is really self love. It's not about, it's more than just taking care of your physical, going to the spa, to the salon, having your nails done. It's really more on the internal work. This is beyond the surface, beyond the physicality. It's really about um, being, feeling whole inside you, that you may be able to share that wholeness to other people who may have forgotten about it too. We may have forgotten about caring or really loving themselves. It's that simple, really. And I believe since the millennia, um, we have been fed with so many beliefs. We have been influenced with so many beliefs that uh, you have to sacrifice yourself, you have to die to yourself, you have to do this and do that, that others may live or others may be thriving, but you're already depleted. It doesn't work that way. It has to be like me, for example. I grew up in that kind of situation, a harsh environment in the family. So I was really confused about love. I don't remember saying to each other, the family members, siblings, from parents to the children, that we love each other. I couldn't remember saying, Mom, I love you, or my daughter, I love you, or Son, I love you, from my father to my brother. We don't have that. We didn't have that in the family. And so how am I going to understand it? I grew up in a harsh environment, and the discipline was very physical and verbal abuse. Right? These are the abuses. So how am I going to understand it? So what I did was I went out looking for gentleness because I couldn't understand it myself. I couldn't understand. So I went out looking for gentleness. I tried my very best to, be a good friend to my friends. But of course, sometimes, because of that foundation, I couldn't really give off what I really wanted to be, give up what I really want to experience because I couldn't understand it. Until all these painful events that transpired in my life, I said to myself, this is painful. I don't want pain. Let me understand what is pain all about. And in this pain, actually, um, I get tired of hurting myself. I got tired of putting myself in situations where I will just be hurt. I got tired of that, and I said, from then onwards, I'm going to be gentle to myself and start loving myself this time. I'm going to focus on myself. It doesn't mean that you're selfish. You're just doing it so that you can give it away to others. You're just doing it. You're trying to understand it, know it, experience it, that you may share it with others, and others will be reminded that they can also love themselves. That it's okay to love yourself.
And then let's connect this to when once you love yourself, you learn to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you can trust the process of the hard thing you're going through.
Exactly. Exactly. Loving yourself is really also about trying to build your relationship with yourself, having a love affair with yourself, trusting yourself once again, and believing in your powers, knowing that you're beyond this physical body, but more than that, you are also a spiritual being with an indestructible spirit. So why the heck I was living with a victim mindset before? That's what I realized when I love myself. Why the heck do I bother asking for attention from people, especially from my family? Why am I really seeking for attention from my family where I can really do it on my own? See what I'm talking about here, right? So that's what I've discovered. So without self love, you feel incomplete, but actually, um, no, you are complete the moment you were born here. You just have to remember that every situation really is to remind us of who we really are. From pain, there's healing. So in this world of contrast, it's the life is designed this way to challenge you that you may be able to discover your greatness. Life is here to challenge you. There's the process of the what do you call that? The, the contrast was created for you to fully discover who you really are.
Or remember, really, you know, sometimes we sometimes we need to just look at ourselves as a baby, to, as a little innocent child, to remember that the way we feel about ourselves now is not the way that we felt about ourselves when we were small. We, you know,
That's
we,
right.
we let other outlooks chip away a little bit, a little bit, a little bit at a time. And we let other people's pain decide for us how we feel about ourselves.
Exactly.
Because if, like in your case, where you've had harsh punishment and not a lot of loving affirmation, you were awesome. You're awesome, little Elsa. You are awesome. We love you. You are just amazing. You're perfect. You know, we don't like it if you're naughty, but we love you. You've been born perfect. Like that is the message that children are supposed to get. But if you're naughty, we're not going to like it. But instead, whatever people didn't like about you, they personalized. Whatever they didn't like about what was going on in their own lives, they felt entitled to take it out on you. And when we make judgments about ourselves, and when we
That's
make
true.
those judgments about ourselves, we give away those valuable pieces about ourselves. We give away our belief in ourselves. And so when we start doing this work, it is really, let's claim back. Let's remember that this was a process of giving away, and therefore we have a choice. Let's
That's
take
right.
it back. Let's build it up again. Now, self-love, self-love is a verb. It's not a concept. It's a
Yeah.
verb. It
Yes.
means that we start to do stuff differently, like you say, self-care. I like to
Call to
start with
action.
self-care. Yeah. If you
Yeah.
start with self-care, you're starting to show yourself your
That's right.
worth of your own attention. And you build it back up little bit, little bit, little bit. Um,
And you know what, Louis? There's one more thing that the reason why a lot of people are having a hard time loving themselves. It's because, like what you said earlier, it's correct. Um, we have allowed ourselves to be dictated by the perceptions of others. We allow them to tell to be influenced by what they think of us instead of us. What do I think about myself? Other people would see me this way, but actually, what do you really think about yourself, right? And what do you call this? I'm lost though. I got
Well,
lost.
if you have a parent
Yeah,
who's carrying a lot of wounds inside themselves, they like literally put on the glasses of a wound. They look at you through the glasses of their wound. They, if they have not learned how to leave their wound behind, you're going to not be viewed as you. You're going to be seen through their wounds. And that's unfair. Tough shit. What can we do about it? It's unfair. But we, as adults, we get a choice. We get to say, I don't want to live in that fear mindset anymore. I want to claim myself. I've had enough. You know,
that's right.
I feel like absolutely everybody who makes big changes in their life get to a point where they say, I have had enough.
Mm-hmm.
Something have to change. I've had enough. I don't think we can get there until the moment when we say, I've had enough. Because
Exactly.
we've got to be fairly
You have to be
determined to
shaken
this
up,
work.
you know? You
Yeah,
have to be shaken up.
yeah.
You have to experience your lowest moments to be able to
Mm,
understand your power within. You have
yeah.
to yet not only understand but discover that inherent power that you have,
Mm,
to discover that you are an indestructible spirit, a
mm,
spiritual being, just having this human experience. It's quite difficult to be human, actually, right? With all these experiences that we have. But we just have to be reminded that we have a choice. We can do great things. I'm not saying about, the ego being, oh, I can do this, I'm a superwoman. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is you have the ability to turn your life around. You are um, a beautiful soul. Actually, you are love itself. So, to those who are looking at themselves with probably this size, stop that. Try to look at yourself in a different angle, different perspective this time. You know, you always have a choice. You can always turn your life around. You can ask questions, always introspect. And you know how you start. It doesn't happen overnight. Why not take the gratitude step, the gratitude
mm,
path? Thank, bless all your experiences because it will lead you to beautiful experiences. Those impossibilities will turn to possibilities. Those darkness will actually, the reason why darkness is there for you to be able to be the light in the darkness. And the reason why there's pain is for you to have healing. And the reason why there's all these annoying people are surrounding you. I've mentioned that in the book, right? They are actually messengers cheering you. Hey, Elsa. Hey, hey, I'm here to annoy you for you to be able to love yourself again. I'm here to annoy you for you to understand what patience is. All these things.
Yeah. So the annoying person is like this button. So there's a little button inside you.
Yeah,
And that button is your job to go and find. Because when you find the button and you remove it, the person is not annoying anymore. Then the person is just somebody outside you.
exactly.
But
Playing a
as long
role.
as you,
It's a messenger,
yeah,
actually. Yeah,
yes, as long as you have all these buttons inside you that people can press, um,
yeah.
then then there's a lot of annoying people in this world and a lot of annoying circumstances. But and then peace is far from us. But once we start understanding that other people's stories and their hurts and their attitudes is outside of us, and I can choose to react to that that button pressing or not. And that actually when I feel that button going like this for the action, that's a blessing to me because I can go in and I can go and examine it. And I can
Mm-hmm.
see, oh, I have a little pain point there. I have a little outlook here that is tying me into the story.
Exactly.
Let me examine it. So it's that little ping is our blessing that we can take and examine, and then we can neutralize that button so we don't have it anymore. it's a process. We don't do it overnight, and a lot of it we need help with. But as long as we start and loving ourselves, learning how to do that, accepting ourselves, and then looking for the gifts and in the challenges. I love it. The gratitude is so big in this whole process.
Yeah, start with that to love
Mm,
yourself. Start with, appreciating your body.
mm, yeah.
Um,
I want to.
our physical bodies come in different sizes, shapes, and forms. Nothing is really standard that you have to look at this way or that way. We see the social media, the influencers, you have to be on a size this and that. I mean, just love your body. I mean, right now, give attention to whatever it is that you have actually taken for granted. Maybe you have been ill for some time. Maybe not maybe, it's time for you to really take care of yourself. And then thank your hands, for example, that you're able to do things, touch things, be of service and write something or pay stuff that you can do with your hands, your legs, your feet. They're really of use to you, your internal organs that's really working miraculously for you. See, there's so many things to be thankful for, and then you thank the experience that you have where you at, probably roof over your head. Think um, about your job, maybe the job that you hate, but you can learn how to love your job, or you can actually have another job. There's always a solution, there's always a choice.
Mm.
Yeah, if you.
Yeah, definitely. The job that I had for 1 year only, I could stand it for 1 year, have taught me so much about life. I still reflect back to it. It was just the biggest blessing to be in that job. Um, Last weekend, I did a interview with Otakara Kletka, and Otakara, she describes this relationship that we have with our bodies as war with our bodies. We are having a war with our bodies instead of having a healthy relationship with our bodies. And that was a huge, huge eye opener for me to actually think about it that way, that instead of having a war with our bodies, it should be like this, it should be like that, and let me punish you a bit more, let me work a bit harder. That really is that really is a war with our bodies. And instead, like you say, we can become very thankful and love and accept our bodies for the great gift of life.
Mhm.
Um, I want to just look at our comments here, and I want to ask everybody, give us a few more hearts. I like the hearts. And if anybody's coming in on the replay, we'll come back and we'll come and see and we'll come and look at the comments. We always know tomorrow is going to be more comments. So we always know we'll come back and we'll come and look at the comments. I want to check if anybody here is stuck in monkey mind, stuck in the rotating thoughts, or if anybody is stuck in fear, and you've got an opportunity to talk to us about it and ask questions. Like, is there anybody else like me who absolutely, I'm just so in love with this beautiful, loving, peaceful um, feeling that I always get from Elsa. I'm looking forward to talking to you so much because you're always so peaceful. I love it. Is anybody else? Okay, so let's see. Let's check
Let's
our
see. Is there
comments
someone
quickly.
watching? I couldn't see
No,
anyways.
there's somebody. No, I'll show it to you now. I'll show it to you. There we go. Okay, great. Thank you. I don't know who's Facebook user again, so we need to know who's Facebook user. And there's a little heart. A little here. Love it. I love my heart.
So there's
Ah,
that. How do we
oh, that's
release?
a great question. How do we release false beliefs? Okay, go, Elsa.
How do we release false beliefs?
Mm-hmm.
Really, beliefs are just repetitive thoughts that you have been playing in your mind. So that's the reason why I mentioned about observing. Observation really plays a big role in here. because we have trained ourselves to be identified with thoughts. So why not be just the awareness of these thoughts? You can step back, pause, and then what are these thoughts? You have a choice which thoughts to think about, or no choice at all. It's better. So, and how would you know that these beliefs are false? Look at how you feel the experience, what is happening around you. So if there's no love in there, it means it's really false beliefs, right? If it beliefs are really, I mean, each of us is a walking belief system, if you think about it, because of the thoughts that we have allowed ourselves to believe in, right? So what is it that it's not working for you? Then it's time to change that. Meaning, when you change it, you change the way you think, the way you choose your thoughts. Choose your thoughts wisely. That's how we can release false beliefs. If it
Yeah, you
doesn't
know what,
feel
Elsa?
love, then how could it be, right? Yeah,
Yeah. Um, yeah, belief systems that are good for us, even if it's sometimes hard ones, we know they work for us. It's weird. We also know when a belief system is not working for us. I
yeah,
like it, but the question is, how do we release false beliefs? Because I think that's the first thing to understand. If you know the belief is false, it's harder before that if you don't know yet that it's false, because when you know it's false, you can simply refuse to believe it. You can, okay,
that's true. It doesn't
yeah,
feel right. Your
yeah,
body will always tell you too. Your inner being,
yeah,
there's always a war inside you. It means that it's not the belief that's working for you. It's just okay. This is really about, because we have labeled as false, right and wrong, but really beliefs are those thoughts that will serve you, thoughts that will work for you. Because the false beliefs that you have labeled false is actually for other people, these are right for them. You know what I'm talking about here? So it's really about, it's neither right or wrong, it's really what will work and what will serve you.
yeah. And so, say you've got a belief that that goes like this: people will not like me, but people will not want me around, which is a very general one for people to have. Then you have to start using logic. You have to go and write down all the reasons why you are awesome. And I'm really, if you get stuck, you ask your best friend. You go ask other people what is amazing about you. And when you start going through them, you look at it at paper on paper, you're going to find out, I like this person. This person is actually awesome.
That's right. That's right.
You must, if you are very stuck on, I don't want to like myself, you're not going to do this. You have to be willing. You have to be willing to say, let me go find the reasons why I can like myself. Let me find the logic of why this kind of thinking is wrong.
And
And
then
then,
there's one more thing. The reason why there's difficulty in loving oneself is because of the concept that we have placed on ourselves too.
mm,
If you um, eradicate that concept, for example, like for us, I'm an author, I'm a life coach, these are the really just concepts. But
mm,
if you eradicate all those, and then think of yourself as, I'm a spiritual being. Actually, it's about spirituality, it's about nothingness, formlessness, so when you think about this, when you dwell on that, really it's easier for you to, there will be no difficulties about that, about yourself, because you are not only describing yourself just a physical being, but it's beyond you. So you're removing all these concepts. Spirituality is about this formlessness, shapelessness, nothingness. But the thing is, we are scared. What's happening here is we are scared to be nothing, to be nobody, because we got used to being in this society, in this world that we have created, that we are to be someone, we are to be this and that, because that's how the egotistic system really works. But let go of that now. Try to go within and see yourself as a spiritual being that could not be described, that could not have this specific description, but just that you're a spiritual being, you're part of the whole divine consciousness. That's it. And you're love.
yeah, a lot of it has to do with refusing to stay in the in the old place. Okay, let's
Hmm.
check. I want to check if this worked, if this helps, or Okay, we check. We're done with this one. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Hi, Mitch. Nice to see you.
Hi, Mitch.
Yeah, I don't know why Facebook is not identifying you today. Okay.
I know,
All
right?
right.
There's
Yeah, I'm glad that helps. Okay.
okay. That's
All right.
good.
Yeah. So let's see. Is there anybody else who stuck in foot patterns that they don't know how to get free of, or is fear. Um, that's a big one. Um, I want to ask you that if you're watching or you're coming back tomorrow and you're watching the rerun, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, and you know somebody who's very stuck, will you please share this? Because there's a lot of people, the majority of people are walking around with monkey mind and stuck, and it's not necessary. Um, we've managed to get ourselves out of it. We're not different from anybody else. We just had a big enough wake up call to make it a priority. And when we have that wake up call and we make it a priority, that is all we need for us to like enough. Something else is waiting for us. So if anybody knows this, please share. And if anybody has any more questions, please just put it in the chat. Tag us. We'll come back. We'll come and answer you with the greatest pleasure. If you have any more questions for us, we will have another conversation, right, Elsa? Anytime. We'll
Yes,
talk.
yes,
Anytime. Just let us know.
yes,
We'll
yes,
catch
yes.
up and we'll talk about it. How's George? I always have to ask
George
her.
is actually before joining you in Facebook Live, we were just playing because he just wants attention, you know.
Yeah.
Play with George is my cat, by the way.
Yeah, and if you want to know about George, you have to go follow Elsa on Instagram. That's where I
Instagram.
see George. I'm in love with George. George is gorgeous.
Yes.
So yeah, so I haven't seen George recently, so please go and post a picture
I
of
will,
George.
I will, I
Okay,
will.
all right, great. Okay, so if there's anybody else, you can post, and otherwise we'll come back. And okay, Elsa, so our book, it's been on pre-order now for a couple of months, and our book is going to be coming out. I'm waiting for Amazon to make it live. So it will
Yeah.
be in the next day or two. Our book will be live. It is available for pre-order. I have dropped the price. I've been saying to people all
Yeah.
along, don't buy, but I have dropped the price especially for people so that you can buy. So this is now the time. We definitely want you to jump in there. We want you to support us. We would like to go up in the
Yeah,
bestseller
Peter,
rank. Yeah,
imagine 12 resilient women with their stories. A lot
yeah,
of words of wisdom have been
mm,
shared here. We shared our setbacks and our breakthroughs so that people, that for me as an author, that's my intention is just to
mm,
inspire, empower,
yeah,
encourage people. No matter whether
mm,
I co-author or do something else, write something and post something in social
mm.
media, it's
You know what
these are
I?
just the intention
Yeah, you
why
know
we
what
do what we do.
I have learned from quite a few of our authors how much internal healing they have done through the process of writing.
I'm sorry, Louise. Did you say something?
Yes, I said a lot of our authors have shared with me how much internal healing they have done just through writing down their story and like really verbalizing their best tips, their best help, how much it's helped our authors. So if you can imagine if it helps our authors to write it down,
That's
you can
true.
imagine how much it's going to help other people. It,
That's
it is it
correct.
is a really good book. It's not fluff. It is a really good book and an
Guys, we're
amazing
not
book.
just really just promoting your book here. We're just really amazed with the work of the rest of the authors, what they do to benefit humanity, and there are a lot of stuff, wisdom to be received once you buy this book. So if you can, go ahead and check it out on Amazon. And pretty soon the paperback copy would be out too, right? When
Yeah,
is the expected date?
probably about in a month. I want to do it about a month from now. So
Yeah, I
it's
couldn't
will
wait
be,
to you feel the paperback.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So yeah, and it's 2.99 now.
Hmm.
Okay. So thank you all for watching, and thank you all for commenting and giving us those hearts, the hearts that make me so happy. I can see them, so they inspire me.
Well, thank you,
And
Louise, for having me. And really, what a day, huh? I'm just holding my iPhone here. I mean, I was really trying to prepare everything, and then this happened with the noise
no, it's
outside. Oh
still
my
awesome.
gosh! But anyways,
Yeah.
I hope that for those who watch this, you got something about our conversation from our conversation, and really help you. Anyways,
You know
Louise,
what I
thank
want
you.
everybody
Hmm?
to know? Because you know what? You speak and you hear peace. And I want people to know that this is what we aim for people to
Yeah.
have this beautiful, deep peace. I don't know anybody who else who sounds like peace. You're a
Hmm.
person who sounds like peace.
Yeah.
And and that I want everybody to have it. And we can all have it. We can have daily peace and joy in our life. It's an amazing thing. Thank you so
Louise,
much for
thank you.
coming, Elsa.
I
And
really
thank
appreciate the stuff that you do. Yeah, you do amazing things to help people out. And this is you, this is your love language. Yeah, the love language is to, gather people who have actually doing the best they can. And I am thankful that you have chosen me to co-author a book. I
of
mean,
course.
write a chapter in your book. Thank you again for that
Yeah.
opportunity.
No, you were first. You were one of the first people in my thoughts. I know what it feels like to be desperate to get real help, and I
Uh-huh.
am very determined to make help, real transformative help, more available to people. So thank you for coming. Thank you all for watching, and remember, give us hearts, keep on sharing, and show up next week again and go buy a book. Okay, lots of love to you,
Lots of
and
love.
see you next week.
Bye.